Have you ever imagined a car the size of a couch being used on trails, farms, or even military operations? It might sound unlikely, but the off-road world has seen true war miniatures. Vehicles so small, they fit in a hallway, yet brave enough to face mud, mountains, and wild terrain with more courage than many modern pickups. These vintage machines not only proved their value in action, but also won over collectors and enthusiasts worldwide with their simplicity, toughness, and, of course, plenty of style. And what if I told you there was a Jeep with 2 engines, a microcar used in luxury resorts, and even military models that looked like toys? So fasten your seatbelt, because today you're going to discover the smallest vintage off-road vehicles you have to see to believe. Stick with me until the end, because the last one on this list is so insane, it looks like a mix between a tank and a shopping cart. Cley Farm Road. Released in the United States in 1950, the Cley Farm Road was a kind of multi-purpose mini-tractor with the look of a compact Jeep. Designed for small post-war farmers, it offered simplicity and efficiency in a package that could fit in any garage. Equipped with a 2-cylinder engine and 721 cc, it delivered 26 horsepower, enough to move its slightly over 500 kilograms frame through dirt roads, grass, and even light mud. The torque was modest, but ideal for pulling farm tools or handling gentle climbs. It featured a 3-speed manual gearbox with a low-range gear, allowing for better control at low speeds. It came standard with rear-wheel drive, but some versions had temporary 4-wheel drive. Suspension was basic, with a solid axle and semi-elliptical leaf springs. Visually, it looked like a cross between a Jeep and a golf cart, with straight fenders and an open frame. But hearing its engine working out in the field was enough to realize its real usefulness. It was widely used on small farms and rural properties. Many owners used it for internal transport, small harvests, and even light maintenance tasks. It's said that a collector in the US restored one just to drive it between the vineyards of his farm, like a working time capsule. Sound unusual? The next one is a beach Jeep that became a sensation on tropical islands. Mini Moke. The Mini Moke debuted in 1964 in the United Kingdom with a curious project: to be a light military vehicle. But the plan didn't work. The army found it too low for operations, and it ended up becoming the most stylish Jeep on the beaches of the Caribbean, Australia, and Europe. Under the hood, it carried a 4-cylinder engine with 848 cc, delivering around 34 horsepower. Light and agile, it weighed about 570 kilograms, and its front-wheel drive gave it surprising stability on sand and dirt roads. The gearbox was a 4-speed manual with short throws. The independent suspension on all 4 wheels gave it comfort on uneven terrain, even without 4x4. Its look was unmistakable. Open body, no doors, lightweight frame, and a style that blended utility with beach vibes. It was simple, fun, and extremely practical. Used in resorts, islands, and even rural areas, the Mini Moke became a symbol of freedom and style. It was featured in British TV series and even had a place in Steve McQueen's garage. It wasn't just a vehicle, it was a lifestyle. And here's something curious. Many of these Mokes are still in use today in tourist destinations as eco-friendly transport. Enjoyed the tropical vibe? Then get ready. The next one looks fragile, but it tackled deserts with an engineering genius that will surprise you. Citroen Mehari 4x4. Produced in France starting in 1979, the Mehari 4x4 was the rugged version of the popular civilian Mehari. Lightweight, versatile, and rust-resistant, it was built to tackle tough terrain with ease and efficiency. It had a 4-cylinder engine with 602 cc and around 29 horsepower. Weighing under 600 kilograms, its performance was more than enough, especially with its selectable 4x4 drivetrain and 4-speed manual gearbox with a low-range option. The independent suspension and tubular chassis offered comfort and durability on mountains, beaches, and even deserts. Its ABS plastic body was a highlight, rust-proof and easy to clean. Visually, the Mehari 4x4 looked like a toy, colorful, light, and no frills. But don't be fooled, it was used by military forces, patrol units, and rescue teams in areas where larger vehicles got stuck. It roamed African deserts, patrol routes, and even technical missions in the Pyrenees. Its playful look hid a truly functional machine. Some units are reportedly still operating today on Mediterranean islands, transporting goods along paths that no modern vehicle can reach. Liking this lineup so far? Hold tight. The next one is a bold little Japanese off-roader that tackled mountains like a pro. Daihatsu Taft F10 F20. Produced in Japan starting in 1974, the Daihatsu Taft was a compact Jeep designed for real off-road use. The Taft name stood for tough and almighty four-wheel touring vehicle, and it lived up to that promise. The F10 model had a two-cylinder engine with 958 cc and about 45 horsepower. The upgraded F20 version used a 1.6-liter four-cylinder engine producing 66 horsepower. Weighing under 900 kilograms, it had the strength and agility to handle climbs, mud, and rocky paths. It had a 4-speed manual gearbox with a low-range gear. The drivetrain was selectable 4x4, and the suspension, with semi-elliptical leaf springs and solid axles, provided solid performance in rough terrain. Visually, it looked like a mini Land Cruiser, boxy, compact, and tough. It was practical, easy to drive, and surprisingly robust for its size. It saw use in rural, mountainous areas and even technical missions in Asia and South America. Despite its humble looks, it handled terrain that many larger vehicles avoided. Some say a group crossed the Andes in 3 Tafts without any support, reinforcing its reputation as a warrior. Think the Taft was impressive? Wait until you see the next one. A French car that looked normal but hid 2 engines and a genius traction system. Citroen 2CV 4x4 Sahara. The 2CV Sahara is a true gem of French engineering. Launched in 1960, it was a creation by Citroen to meet the needs of transportation in remote regions, especially in African colonies. At first glance, it looked just like a regular 2CV, but it hid a brilliant mechanical solution. It came with 2 two-cylinder engines, one at the front and one at the rear, each with 425 cc's. Together, they generated a combined 26 horsepower, enough to move the car's 650 kilograms with 4-wheel drive. The idea was simple and ingenious. With both engines running, it became a 4x4. With just one, it switched to front or rear-wheel drive. It featured a 4-speed manual transmission for each engine with synchronized clutch systems that allowed both to be operated simultaneously. The simplicity of the system was what made it so clever. The suspension was independent with swing arms, well known for its smoothness and ability to absorb impacts, even on extremely rough terrain. This gave the Sahara impressive stability for its size. Visually, it looked like a city car adapted for the desert. But a closer look revealed key details: 2 fuel caps, extra air vents, and the spare tire mounted on the hood, all clues to its off-road character. It was designed to travel across arid desert regions with no infrastructure. Its dual-engine setup allowed it to keep moving, even if one engine failed, a vital feature in isolated areas. In Algeria, for example, field engineers used the Sahara to cross hundreds of kilometers through desert under scorching heat and unpredictable terrain. It became so popular among professionals that it turned into a collector's item decades later. In fact, it's said that only about 700 units of the Sahara were produced, making it an absolute rarity in the off-road world. Enjoying this journey through the world of small but mighty machines? Then go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell. That really helps the channel grow and ensures you won't miss any upcoming episodes featuring these incredible machines. If you thought the Sahara was clever, hold on. The next one is a curious Italian that looks like a toy car, but was built to climb mountains for real. Fairves Ranger. The Fairves Ranger was launched in 1965 in Italy as an extremely limited production micro off-roader, and it's one of the rarest in the world. The name Fairves comes from Ferrari Veicoli Speciali, but despite the name's origin, the vehicle has nothing to do with the famous supercar brand. It used a Fiat-sourced engine, a 2-cylinder with 499 cubic centimeters, delivering about 18 horsepower. Sure, that may sound like little, but since the Ranger weighed only 530 kilograms, the performance was more than enough for off-road use. It featured a 4-speed manual gearbox, with rear-wheel drive in the original version. However, extremely rare 4x4 versions were also produced, equipped with a custom transfer case and low-range gear, designed for more demanding terrain. The suspension was independent, with swing arms and coil springs, providing comfort despite its small size. Because it was so light, it practically floated over rough terrain, avoiding getting bogged down or stuck in holes. Visually, it looked like a mini Jeep with 4 seats and a very boxy body. It had protruding headlights, oversized tires for its size, and a design that blended utility with a market cart. But don't be fooled by its appearance. The Fairves Ranger was developed for use on farms, mountains, and alpine trails. It was commonly used by agricultural engineers and even rescue teams in the Alps. Its lightweight and excellent maneuverability made it ideal for narrow paths and steep slopes. Today, it's considered the true gem. Fewer than 600 units were produced, and the few surviving examples are highly contested by collectors at international auctions. One restored unit reportedly sold for over $200,000 at a European auction. If you thought this tiny Italian was a rare find, get ready. The next one was built for military use and operated where tanks couldn't even reach. Porsche 597 Jagdwagen. Produced between 1954 and 1958, the Porsche 597 Jagdwagen was the German brand's first off-road vehicle. Developed to meet a post-war military contract for the West German Army, it was a kind of hybrid between a military jeep and a hunting car. In fact, Jagdwagen literally means hunting car in German. The engine was a classic Porsche Boxer, a rear-mounted, air-cooled flat-4, opposed cylinders, with 1.6 liters and 50 horsepower. Just like the brand's sports cars, it offered above-average performance for a vehicle weighing around 870 kilograms. It came with a 5-speed manual transmission, including a low-range gear, and featured full-time 4x4 all-wheel drive. Handling was excellent, noticeably superior to its competitors of the time. The suspension was independent with torsion bars, offering great flexibility on trails and surprising comfort on uneven terrain. Visually, it looked like a minimalist military Jeep, with an open body, straight lines, and wide tires. But Porsche's signature was clear in the precision of its build, the finish, and even its stability at higher speeds. It was mainly used in military trials and also served as a patrol vehicle in rugged areas. Unfortunately, it wasn't selected by the Army, which ended up choosing the DKW Manga, limiting the Jagdwagen's production to about 71 units. Today, it's one of the most sought-after rarities among Porsche collectors, and even though it was made for war, there are records of it being used by European aristocrats on rural estates, for hunting and getting around difficult terrain. Now get ready, because the next item takes us into completely different territory. A mini cargo machine that looks like it came straight out of a sci-fi movie. Crawler mini dumper truck. Mini dumpers appeared around the 1960s and were manufactured by various brands across Europe and Japan. Although they looked more like tools than vehicles, these tiny track trucks showed impressive off-road capability for their size. Most were powered by 2-cylinder engines running on gasoline or diesel, producing between 5 and 12 horsepower. With a lightweight build, usually under 500 kilograms, and track drive systems, they could cross terrain that even larger Jeeps struggled with. They had a 3-speed manual transmission with reverse gear, and power was delivered directly to the tracks, ensuring grip in mud, gravel, snow, or steep inclines. Visually, they looked like mini tanks, compact, rugged, and with tipping beds. Even without a cabin, they were agile and reliable for carrying heavy loads in tight spaces. They were widely used in construction, mining, and agriculture. You'd also find them at ski resorts and in mountainous areas where larger vehicles couldn't operate efficiently. Interestingly, during conflicts in Southeast Asia, adapted versions of these mini dumpers were used by the military to transport ammunition through dense jungle where trucks couldn't pass. Strong, practical, and tireless. But what comes next has 6x6 drive, it's amphibious, and looks like it rolled right out of a sci-fi movie. Haflinger 4x4. Launched in 1959 by Austria's Steyr-Puch, the Haflinger was a micro-military jeep less than 3 meters long, but with off-road capabilities that left many bigger vehicles in the dust. It was powered by a flat 2-cylinder engine with 643 cc, producing 27 horsepower, and weighed only 600 kilograms. This lightweight, combined with permanent 4x4 traction and a 4-speed manual gearbox with low range, made it a true mountain goat. Its independent suspension on all 4 wheels and high ground clearance gave it excellent stability and articulation. Despite being narrow, it could climb steep slopes and cross rugged trails with ease. Visually, it was peculiar: narrow, open cab with simple lines and wide tires. But where it truly shined was in performance. The Haflinger was used by the armed forces of Austria, Switzerland, and several other European countries in mountainous regions, border patrols, and for transporting heavy equipment. Today, many units are still running on alpine farms, and enthusiasts proudly keep them in collections as one of the most capable compact off-road machines ever built. Impressed by this brave Austrian? Then brace yourself, because the last one is unlike anything you've seen so far. Terrajet. The Terrajet emerged in the United States in the 1960s as a compact amphibious vehicle, ideal for crossing swamps, flooded areas, or snow-covered terrain. Small, light, and practical, it looked more like a radical toy than a real machine. Its 2-cylinder engine, with power ranging from 7 to 12 horsepower, was connected to a belt-driven automatic transmission (CVT style), providing smooth acceleration. With 6-wheel drive, 6x6, and weighing just 270 kilograms, it could float on water and handle mud effortlessly. It had full-time traction distributed across 6 balloon tires, which helped both with flotation and traction in tough conditions. The suspension was simple, but the combination of tires and chassis absorbed impacts well. Visually, it looked like a futuristic golf cart, a fiberglass body, center steering wheel, and basic seats. But watching it drive into a lake and emerge on the other side quickly showed what it was really made for. It was used by hunters, fishermen, maintenance crews in flooded areas, and even farmers in Alaska. Its performance in impassable terrain made it a reliable choice for places most vehicles couldn't reach. In fact, in some parts of Canada, Terrajets are still used by locals to cross frozen sections during winter, with complete confidence. We often think that bigger means stronger, but today you've seen another side of the off-road world, one of compact, clever, and courageous machines. Each of these vehicles showed that size is no limit when the design is smart and purpose-driven. From tiny jeeps to tracked trucks, dual-engine models, and even amphibious machines, these small legends have faced extreme terrain, served in militaries, helped in farming, and carved out their place in history. Now it's your turn. Which one of these vehicles would you park in your garage? Which one surprised you the most, by engineering or by story? And if you had to cross a hostile terrain with one of them, which would you choose? Drop your answers in the comments. I'm looking forward to reading them. And of course, if you enjoyed this content, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell. That's really important for helping the channel grow. It tells YouTube this is quality content, and helps more people discover these amazing machines. Stay tuned, because every week there's a new video about the most insane vehicles ever built to conquer trails, snow, mud, and the harshest conditions. See you in the next video.